Now, the government has just revealed what will be trimmed as part of cuts to foreign aid, or the foreign aid budget. Let's bring in our Foreign Affairs editor, Deborah Haynes. So these are, well, it was controversial when it was announced. What's the detail of the cuts?
Well, actually, there isn't much detail. I mean, I guess that's the top line. People were expecting this statement from the Foreign Secretary, a written ministerial statement that's just been released, to give a sense of where these huge cuts in overseas aid spending was going to actually fall. But instead, they've chosen to give it a bit of a spin and talk about the money that they are spending. Every time you hear a minister being grilled about the cuts, they come back saying, you have to remember the UK is still one of the biggest spenders of overseas aid in the world. And that is true, but that doesn't hide the fact that they are cutting spending this year by about £4 billion. And yet, in this statement that's just been released, the only comparison, the only percentage that they give is a cut to aid spending to China, which was only a tiny, tiny fraction of the more than £8 billion that the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office are in charge of, which is part of an overall £14 billion budget. Normally, in normal years, it's now been shrunk to much smaller than that. But they say that part of the budget is being slashed by 95%. So overseas spending to China slashed by 95% to just £900,000, which gives you a sense that's only a small portion. And this all happens as charities in countries like Yemen are desperately trying to get clarity from the government about the extent of the cuts they're facing. They're having to lay people off. They're having to wrap up life-saving programmes. And the statement released today will not give them any answers. So you can expect the Foreign Secretary tomorrow to meet with fierce questioning when he appears before the International Development Committee. And perhaps then we will get some more answers.